So for your WooCommerce store, you may want your users to spend a certain amount before they can complete their order. So for this, you need to set a minimum order value. So for example, they may need to spend £10 or £20 before they can complete their order. And then sometimes you may also need to ignore certain products. So for some products that say set below £3 or £2, you may want those specific products to be bought and ignore the minimum order rule. So this video shows you how to set the minimum order value and ignore certain products from that rule. So the solution was a WooCommerce minimum order value which can ignore certain products. So for this we used WooCommerce and installed a handy plugin by Vartech called Minimum Purchase for WooCommerce, which there's a free version here. But we use the Pro paid for version, which is well worth getting because you get all the extra options like ignoring products, etc. And that's what it looked like. So I'm going to run through the steps on how to install minimum purchase for WooCommerce and how to ignore specific products. The site I'm using is just a test site, so just to show you how it's all set up. So first of all, install the plugin, and once you've installed the plugin you'll get this minimum purchase rules section. So first of all, don't go into adding a new minimum purchase rule. What we need to do first is set up minimum purchase categories. So go to minimum purchase categories and you need to set up 2 categories. So one for the minimum purchase category and one for the ignore minimum purchase category. So I've set up the minimum purchase category already, and we're going to go ignore min purchase here. And then add. So one category will be for all products, so this minimum purchase category, and one category will be to ignore certain products. So that's this one that we're setting up now. So now that we've got both categories set up, we're going to set up 2 minimum purchase rules. So first of all, we'll set up the default minimum purchase rule. So head to minimum purchase rules. And you can see I've got one set up already. We'll ignore that one for now, but so that's for something else. So we'll go add new, and this will be our default minimum purchase rule. So give it a name. So for this, I'd say minimum purchase rule, and then we'll go through each option. So under select search type, choose use selection groups. So use selection groups allows you to choose the products you want to apply the rule to. So use selection groups, and then we go into ignore product. So ignore product categories and choose the first category you added from the minimum purchase categories box. So when you set up your default minimum order for products, the default option that will be shown will be to apply to all products in the cart, but in this case we want to ignore certain products. So hit use selection groups, and then these options will come up, but only if you've got the Pro version. So ignore product categories, and what we want to go for is the minimum purchase category. So this is the default minimum purchase category that we set up previously, and leave that as all, and then we can ignore the roles because we want it to apply to everybody. But if you did want to, say we've got like trade accounts in this site, so if you did want to ignore certain roles, you could there. And then when you get down to rule application method, you need to decide on how the rules applied. So choose all in the population. And then finally, in the quantity or price minimum amount, choose apply to price. And then enter your minimum amount. So in this case, we're going to go for 10. And to finish this setup, we just go and hit publish. Okay, so now we've got the default rule set up. We just need to add a new rule, and we're going to follow all the instructions previously, but we're going to make a change in the category we ignore and in the quantity. So I'm just going to set all those up, and then I'll come back to the options that you need. So for this second one, we need to tick minimum purchase categories and just hit the ignore minimum purchase, which is the second category set up in the first step. And then we need to go to all in the population and apply to price. And for this, we need a minimum amount of 1. And that's so that when we ignore these products, we have at least £1 in there that we need to meet before we buy it. So that's there. And then we just publish this one. And the next step will be to add this rule to certain products. So once you have that set up, you'll basically have two rules: ignore minimum purchase products and minimum order on products. So these are the two rules you've got set up, and you want your minimum purchase categories to look like this. So you've got those two there, and the next thing to do is go into products. So the first thing you're going to want to do is set the default rule to all products. So to do this, we can use WooCommerce's bulk editing tool. That's here. So tick all, and then bulk actions, edit, apply, and then we go down to minimum purchase categories. So you want to tick the minimum purchase category there. So we'll apply it on all products first, and then the products that we want to ignore, which is 2 in this case, we'll go through and change those separately. But you need to apply the rule to all products. Otherwise, this rule won't work on in the cart. So choose minimum purchase category for this one. For all products, hit update. And the next thing to do is choose the product or products that you want this rule to ignore. So in this case, if we go to this product here, and then we want to look for the minimum purchase categories within this product. So on the right hand side, we can see that there's the 2 categories that we set up originally, and both need to be ticked. So it looks at both rules, and then update the product. Okay, so that in the back end, that's all the steps you need to take. So that will basically now give you a WooCommerce cart function with a minimum purchase applied to all products and the ability to ignore the minimum purchase rule on certain products. So in this case, this symmetry, scent, and anti-aging set. So that's all the settings set. So huge thanks to Vartech and WooCommerce for making this possible. And also just to say that Vartech have amazing support. So if you do get stuck, Mark and the team at Vartech are really, really helpful in giving you advice on how to get the right setup. So just to show you this in action, I've added a product to my basket in the £7, and you get the this purchase error. On a live site that we've got, we usually edit the styles on this because the default styles they're user friendly, but they're not that pretty. So you might want to style these up, but that can easily be done with CSS. So basically, what it's telling us there is the minimum purchase total of £10 is required for this group. So these total of products. But the product that we ignored was this symmetry, scent, and anti-aging set. This is £60 anyway, but if we took this down to £5, for example, then added it to basket, the rule would ignore it. So I'm just going to show you what that looks like. So if we get rid of this one. So now I've added this product to the cart, and you can see this is £5 and we get no error message. So go into the product and you'll see this is because we've got the ignore minimum purchase ticked, and the minimum purchase category needs to be unticked. So just make sure that's ticked and that's unticked, and there you go, that'll work.